In the installation of the Android Studio, you'll be faced with a welcome page. In the welcome page, you have a button there that you can click on to create a new project. Now, when you click on that button, you will be faced the window over here. Now, in this window, we are going to click on Empty Views Activity. Now, any of these things here provide you with an interface, an initial interface in which you can build on. But we want an interface that does not have anything there. An empty activity would be a too bare bone, to be too dry. We want some uh, uh, things in which we can view and things, but we want to build everything ourselves. So we will choose an empty views activity. Also, we could have chosen where if we wanted to build an app that would go onto a phone. We could have chosen television if we wanted to build an app that would go on a TV. We could have chosen automotive if we wanted to build an app that would come onto a particular uh, vehicle's console. But in our case, we are choosing phone. We will choose phone and tablet. When I click on next, it presents me with the opportunity to enter a name for my app. Note that the name we'll type here would be the name that will come on the app icon that we'll be using. So the name I will type here for my app is going to be Calculate App. So that is the name I'm going to give my app. The package name over here allows you to define what your package is going to be called. A package is a group of like classes that have been grouped together. So in our case, we have the package name for our project. That is, all our classes will be called com.example.package app. Now, calculate app. Now, you can give your own package name, but I'll maintain what is there. Over here, I have the file location of my code. Now, the file location should not have any space in it. If you have a space in the username of your computer, the code over here will not work. You should not have a space in the username of your computer. That is when you go to Drive C and you go to Users, and you go and look for the folder of your computer. There should not be any space in there. If there is a space, the Android Studio will not work very well. So with that in mind, over here, I get to choose the version of Android Studio I want to code with. The choosing of the version is very important. If you go too low, there are features in which you don't get anymore. If you go too high, a lot of people don't have that version, so they can't use your app. So you have to choose a version that is high enough to get your target audience, but low enough so that you can get the most people possible. It is also very important. You can see that if I go to Android 12, then I have immediately lost half my market. So if I go to Android 10, then I have 87% of my market. So the version I would use would determine the group of people that I am targeting, the group of people that are using Android devices that I can target would be dependent on this. Also, I would choose this as my compiler, and the programming language I'm using is Java. After doing all of this, then I can click on Finish. So this would prepare my interface for me. It would make sure I have all my tools, make sure I have all my items, and prepare the interface that would run my code. I'll close the one I have over here so that this thing can load. It is very important that we note. So whilst it is loading, let me talk about some things over here. so that you guys can see. It is very important that you see that everything is loading. So I can see that my files are loading. It is compiling everything, making sure everything is okay. Whilst it is loading, let's click on the settings we have over here. So in the corner over here, I have the cog, and I can see settings over there. And in the settings, I can click on SDK Manager. And when I click on SDK Manager, here I must make sure I have various versions of Android Studio installed, just in case I want to switch the versions. If you want to stick with one, that's okay. But I have installed more than one version so that I can make changes when I need to. Also, we have the SDK tools over here. It is very important that the SDK tools, everything here is installed. If everything here is not installed, certain tools will not be available. Hence, your Android Studio will not work well for you to code. So it means everything in this section here under SDK tools, we must install it. SDK update sites, they are sites in which repositories are picked from there. When your computer has internet, it will just go and then make sure they are installed so you are okay. It doesn't have to have internet every time you code, but once in a while, just give your computer internet and you'll be okay. But for SDK tools, we need to install everything here. Make sure every single item in this section here is installed. If it is not installed, your Android Studio will not work. With that in mind, my code is still loading. I think it is coming to an end of loading. So once it comes to an end, it will start initializing like it is, and then we'll begin coding our work. The moment it is done coding, for you, you would see something like this. You would see a white interface and a blue interface. The white interface is your design. The blue interface is your blueprint for you to see the various features and lines of your design. In my case, I don't want the blue features of my design. So I will only go and click on design where the blue one goes away. But for you, you see the two. If these two things do not come, if those two things do not appear after your code has loaded, then it means that there are some tools missing. Then it means there's a problem with your code. So you are required to make sure that all of these things here are properly installed. They are properly available so that your coding experience could be very nice. If everything is done, you realize that your file section will show your app and will show your Gradle. Your Gradle is your compiler. So in Android Studio, when we say Gradle, that is the compiler that will take everything, compile it into machine level code that will be running on your phone and will be running on your devices or your Chrome devices. Over here, when I click on app, I have three folders over here. I have the manifest folder, I have the Java folder, and I have the resources folder. That is the REF. Each folder here has a very significant role to play. I will explain each and every single one of them. I'll first start with the resources. The resource folder holds all of our resources. The design we saw, the design in which we saw is held in the activity main, is held in the layout folder. So you can see that that presents our design. Every single page we see in our phone. So for example, if you have a phone, you would realize that we have something called the home page, the about page, those pages in which we have in our phones. Each and every single one of them is not called a page. It is called an activity. So we have an activity in each and every single page. In each and every single app. So instead of you saying home page, about us page, we would say home activity, about activity. So each and every single activity, that is each and every single page, has a corresponding page in the Java folder. So this code we have here in Java goes with this activity page we have over here. So they go together. The designs will be held in the layout folder in the resource. So if I want to design the app, how it will look like, when you click, what it will do, all of those things would be controlled and held in this section over here. Over here, when we have the main activity, you would have your code over there that would perform your actions. When you click a button, you should do this. When you go back, you should do this. When you do this, you should do that. All of those things are controlled by the main activity.java file. So here we have our main activity.java file. Sorry, the main activity.java file. Are we okay? So that is that. Now, in the resource folder, we have the drawable. So it is here that I keep all my designs, every, it's a here that I keep all my designs, all the drawings that I will do in my code. All of those things are held in drawables. These designs are vector designs. So they are linear sketches, so on and so forth. Over here, I have my bitmaps. It is here that I will keep my images. Any image that has to do with my work will be stored here. You see something very quickly in Android Studio that when you have an image, you save the image in different file formats so that any format that the person uses on their computer, that format is what you would use to do your designs. Over here, we have the values. It is here that I'll keep all my colors. So if I have any colors I'm using in my app, if I have any strings I'm using in my app, for example, the app name is a string. So here you can see it's calculate app. So it is here that the calculate app would be used or utilized. Would be used or utilized. Will be used or utilized. Then here I have the themes. So the themes here show you the theme that the person will be using in your app. It is very important to know that the themes, they always come in twos. There is the light theme and the dark theme. So whenever your phone is there and you click on dark mode, technically you are just enabling the dark theme that the developer has developed. If they want to be light mode, you are enabling the light mode theme that the developer has developed. And over here, we have any XML files that we want to join into our code. They will be available over here for us. So that is with the resource folder. The Java folder, as I said, holds our Java codes. It is the Java folder that holds the actions that your application is going to do. Is it going to move or on a camera, or all of those actions that your code will do would be secured and held in the Java folder. And then finally, we have the manifest folder. The manifest folder holds all the information about your site. It holds how your site will behave, will act, will do. That's where that is where all actions will be happening going forward. So here we have the area where All the information of your site is held. Every information, every piece of text your site will have, every single nuance, or like the app name, how many activities you have, which activity is the first one that should open, when the icon is round, what should open when the icon is not round, what is the label of your site, so what is the title of your site. All of these things are held in the manifest. The manifest coordinates all the activities of your site. So that is the job of the manifest. So the manifest will coordinate the activities, the Java will hold the actions, then the resources will hold all the designs in which your site is going to use or implement. For today, we are going to learn how we can design a particular app. So for me to design the app, I'll need to go to resources, and in resources, I'll go and look for layout. And in layout, I'll click on the activity main. So this presents me with the first design that I would have. In the first design, I want only the design. I don't want the blueprint. And this hello world thing here, I'll click on it and delete it. So you can see that it is gone. So I have nothing there. The design over here is being designed using XML. So on the corner over here, we can see we have something like a photograph over here that shows the design. Then over here, we have the code. So the design and the code. We can write the code for the whole site. But for beginners, we would use the design. In the design, I have to pick the items I want to use to make my design. And the items I want to use would be held in the palette. So over here, I have the palette. So the palette will allow me to choose the tools that I would use to design anything I want to design. So in here, I can go and choose from text, or from this, or from that, or from that, or I want a layout, or I want widgets, or I want whatever I want, I can go and pick it from here. Now, first thing which I'm going to pick is I'm going to pick a text view. So over here, I've picked a text view. And then once I pick a text view, I can scroll to the bottom, click on the circle, drag it to the top. Sorry. Click on the side, drag it to the side, and then click here and drag it to the side, and then move it to the top here. Now, what have I done? What am I dragging? Why am I dragging things? Now, I'm going to put another text view here. And then in this text view, I'm not going to drag anything. So I'm going to leave it like this. And then I'm going to start the app. So once I click start the app, you can see that it is going to look for the medium foam API 6 over here. This is a phone in which I created. So it is opening that phone up in my emulator. It will check if all the rules are okay, everything is fine. And if everything is fine, it will load the app onto my phone. It will load the app onto my phone. So I was saying that, okay, it's done. You want to read, close that. Okay. Okay, it's done. So I can run this on this. So as I was saying, over here we have a phone in all intents and purposes. You can do everything on the phone. You can install Play Store. You can install apps like WhatsApp and all of those things you want to install. You can do all of them with the phone in which you have over here. So over here, you can see that I am transferring the code I have done here onto this app. And I can do that. I can transfer the code so that we can see the code over here in this app working in real time. So it is launching it on this device. I don't know why it's taking so long. 1 second. Okay, so the app we see over here is the app in which we find here. Again, remember, this is all intents and purposes a phone, so we can do everything. Now, we see that the text view I have over here is here. What's going on? The text view I have over here was the one which appeared here. But this text view here came into the corner. The reason why it came into the corner, I don't want to do pictures and locations. Go back. The reason why it came into the corner was because it was not constrained. It was because it was not fixed. We will have to fix it. We would have to constrain the application. Okay, so if I have an app, so I have this app, right? I don't want this one. Good. So this is our app, right? You can see that the text view, this text view here is the one that is in the corner. Because I didn't constrain it, because I didn't tell the computer that this thing here should be fixed here, fixed here. Like you see that when I bring the cursor over here, I bring the cursor, I click on it, the circle, I click on it and drag to the top, and then drag to the side, and then drag to the other side. So I drag it to, click on it, and then drag it to the other side. 1 second. Drag it to the other side, and then drag it to the other side again. You can see that there are some springs around the text view in which I have done when I click on it. These springs here mean that they have been constrained, means that they have been fixed. So I can't go and then just move them around or do anything which I want with them. They are fixed to a particular location I put it. So if I don't constrain it, when the app loads, it doesn't know where it should be. So everything will move into the corner. So here I want to constrain it. Now, over here, because I would need a text view, I'll put it over here. And let me come a bit closer. So I'll put it a bit over here. Now, this is over here. This one over here, I've constrained it already. So I'll press Ctrl C and press Ctrl V to paste it. And then I'll have another one in which I'll put over here. Then I'll press Ctrl C and Ctrl V again, and then I'll put one more over here. Okay, so now I have these ones over here. You can see that all of them are called text view, text view, text view, text view. That is not what I want to call them. So I'll click on the first one. The moment I click on something, it means that that is what is in focus. So when I go and click on the attributes, on the side here, I have attributes. If I go and click on attributes, it provides me with the opportunity for me to be able to see the properties that govern what I have clicked on. So if I click on properties, I can see that over here, I have text view. Text view, I'll change the text view into welcome. So the text property allows me to change the writings that are in item. When I click on this, again, I'll go and click on the text view, and the text view in which I want over there is number space 1. And then I'll click on this one. The text view in which I want over there is number space 2. And then I'll click on this one. And the text view in which I want over there is answer with a question mark. Now, once I'm done with this, I will go and click on text again, and I will look for the number one. And then I'll click and drag it. And when I drop it to the location in which I want, I would realize that I will have a place that the user can what? Type. Now, I will have to constrain it. So remember, we'll click on it, drag it to the bottom, click and drag. When it touches the bottom, we let go. Click and drag. When it touches the top, we'll let go. Click and drag. When it touches the side, we will let go. And then we'll click and drag. When it touches this side, we'll let go. Then we'll drag it to the location in which we want. Now I'll press Ctrl C and Ctrl V to copy it. So I have another one over here. And then just so the button is in line, this one is in line, I'll bring it down a bit so it is over here. And then let me bring this thing down a bit. So I'll click on it and then bring it down a bit. So that over here, I can go and click on button and then click and drag the button to the location in which I want. So I want the button to be here. So I'll click on the button and then I would click on the circle, drag it. Click on the circle, drag it. Remember, sometimes it is easier to just write the code side of it. But as I said, we are looking at the design side. We'll come and look at the code side in our later classes. So I'll click here. I'll drag. I'll click here. And I'll drag to the bottom. Perfect. It didn't come. So let me go and pick it again. Perfect. This answer here is not supposed to be here. So I'll bring it where it is supposed to be. This button is supposed to be here. And then this answer is supposed to be here. The button I want it to be longer a bit. So I'll stretch it. I'll stretch the button. Perfect. So that it will be here somewhere. Very good. Now, this welcome over here is too small. So I'll click on it. Then you can see that you see that when I click on the background, look here, the attributes here. When I click on this, the welcome, look at the attributes here. When I click on the button, look at the attributes here. Anything you click on, there are properties that come up over here. So for the button, I'm going to scroll down till I find text. And then I'll look for I can go for text color if I want, and maybe choose a color for it, if that's what I want to do. I can go and also look for the text size, because I want my text size to be, so it's text. Oh, sorry, I have to click on it. And then I'll go and look for text size. So I want my text size to be 30 SB. Very good. So now it is a bit bigger. Very lovely, very nice. Okay, so I have this. Great. Now, once I have this, I can now tell the computer that I want to run it onto my device. So again, the compiler would build everything in which I've done, make sure everything I've done is correct, make sure it has a targeted device in which it has to connect to. And if you have a targeted device, to go and run my code on my targeted device. In my case, my targeted device is over here. Where is it? My targeted device is over here. So it can run whatever code in which I want over here. So if everything is okay, you see at the bottom here, Gradle building. Once everything is okay, to launch it over here, then I would see what I have done. This is how we design our interface. We design various interfaces. We will learn how to use different layouts. Over here, we are using the constraint layout. That's why we are using the Spring, and then we are putting items in locations in which we want. So if we are not doing that, then we can open ourselves up to use the relative layout. We have to specify the relative location of items and so on and so forth. So you can see it is done building, it is transferring it onto the device, it is launching it on the device. So once it is done launching it on the device, then we will see the app coming over here for us to see how what we have done look like on a particular phone we are developing for. Are there any questions? So today, our main job was to open the app, see how we can put elements. So the app has been installed successfully. So now it will open on our device. Good. So the app is opening on our device. And once the device has been opened, remember I told you guys to install Photoshop. So here we have the app. So you see that if I click in here that I want to type something over here, the menu will come for me to type something. If I want to type something here, the menu will come. Once I'm done adding, I can click on the button to give me the answer. This is how it will look like on someone's phone. This is how the design will look. Okay, this is how the design of the app look like for all intents and purposes. So I can put 23 here, I can put 17 over here, and then I can click on the add button to add what I want to add and so forth. So this is what we are going to do for the rest of the season. We are going to study how we can build a robust app to do certain things in which we want. We are going to learn about post. We are going to learn about intent. We are going to learn about broadcast. If I want to broadcast, what does it mean? We are going to learn about permissions, camera permissions, file permissions, internet permissions. How can we bring those things in? We are going to learn about APIs and how we can, let's say, use the map API with other Google APIs to enable us to build a very good application. As always, I thank you all for coming to class today, and we'll meet again next week.